There is no more lovely, friendly, and charming relationship, communion or company than a good marriage. Martin Luther. Bigamy is having one husband too many. Monogamy is the same. Erica Jong. Look for a sweet person. Forget rich. Estee Lauder. If thee marries for money, thee surely will earn it. Ezra Bowen. What is instinct? It is the natural tendency in one when filled with dismay to turn to his wife. Finley Peter Dunn. Father giving advice to son, never do anything once around the house that you don't want to do for the rest of your life. Frank Briggs. I've given my memoirs far more thought than any of my marriages. You can't divorce a book. Gloria Swanson. My husband will never chase another woman. He's too fine, too decent, too old. Gracie Allen. I was married by a judge. I should have asked for a jury. Groucho Marx. Politics doesn't make strange bedfellows, marriage does. Groucho Marx. One of the best hearing aids a man can have is an attentive wife. Groucho Marx. Men have a much better time of it than women. For one thing, they marry later. For another thing, they die earlier. H.L. Mencken. No matter how happily a woman may be married, it always pleases her to discover that there is a nice man who wishes she were not. H.L. Mencken. Often the difference between a successful marriage and a mediocre one consists of leaving about 3 or 4 things a day unsaid. Harlan Miller. When you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. Harry Burns. Matrimony, the high sea for which no compass has yet been invented. Heinrich Heine. A husband is what is left of a lover, after the nerve has been extracted. Helen Rowland. Marriage is something you have to give your whole mind to. Henrik Ibsen. A woman must be a genius to create a good husband. Honoré de Balzac. The young man who wants to marry happily should pick out a good mother and marry one of her daughters. Anyone will do. J. Ogden Armour. Marriage is like a violin. After the beautiful music is over, the strings are still attached. Jacob M. Broad. I was the best man at the wedding. So why is she marrying him? Jerry Seinfeld. Sexiness wears thin after a while and beauty fades, but to be married to a man who makes you laugh every day, now that's a real treat. Joanne Woodward. Marriage is our last, best chance to grow up. Joseph Barth. Marrying for love may be a bit risky, but it is so honest that God can't help but smile on it. Josh Billings. Modern American marriage is like a wire fence. The woman's the wire, the posts are the husbands. Langdon Mitchell. Marriage is 3 parts love and 7 parts forgiveness of sins. Langdon Mitchell. No laborer in the world is expected to work for room, board, and love except the housewife. Letty Kotan Pograbin. Only 2 things are necessary to keep one's wife happy. Only 2 things are necessary to keep one's wife happy. One is to let her think she is having her way, and the other, to let her have it. Lyndon B. Johnson. One of the best things about marriage is that it gets young people to bed at a decent hour. M.M. Musselman. Is not marriage an open question, when it is alleged, from the beginning of the world, that such as are in the institution wish to get out, and such as are out wish to get in? Ralph Waldo Emerson. A good marriage would be between a blind wife and a deaf husband. Michel de Montaigne. A virtuous wife is a man's best treasure. Prophet Muhammad. Husband and wife come to look alike at last. Oliver Wendell Holmes. Men marry because they are tired, women because they are curious, both are disappointed. Oscar Wilde. Never get married in the morning, because you never know who you'll meet that night. Paul Hornung. The woman cries before the wedding, the man afterwards. Polish proverb. When a man opens the car door for his wife, it's either a new car or a new wife. Prince Philip. A wise woman will always let her husband have her way. Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Love is a fever which marriage puts to bed and cures. Richard J. Needham. Marriage is one long conversation checkered by disputes. Robert Louis Stevenson. As a general thing, people marry most happily with their own kind. The trouble lies in the fact that people usually marry at an age when they do not really know what their own kind is. Robertson Davis. A wife encourages her husband's egoism in order to exercise her own. Russell Green. An ideal wife is one who remains faithful to you but tries to be just as if she weren't. Sasha Guitry. Pains do not hold a marriage together. It is threads, hundreds of tiny threads which sew people together through the years. That's what makes a marriage last, more than passion or even sex. Simone Signoret. My most brilliant achievement was my ability to be able to persuade my wife to marry me. Winston Churchill. Nothing flatters a man as much as the happiness of his wife. He is always proud of himself as the source of it. Samuel Johnson. Whenever you want to marry someone, go have lunch with his ex-wife. Shelley Winters. A man finds himself 7 years older the day after his marriage. Francis Bacon. Conrad Hilton was very generous to me in the divorce settlement. He gave me 5,000 Gideon Bibles. Zsa Zsa Gabor. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment below and subscribe to my channel. Also, check out my other videos about growing your relationships and health. Thanks for your time.